Welcome to the driving world. In this video we're going to look at driving behavior that some drivers often don't consider wrong. We have compiled a list of mistakes that are much more dangerous than they might seem at first glance. Go through these points carefully and you may recognize yourself somewhere. Mistake number 1. You start driving as soon as the traffic lights turn green. Wait a minute. After all, green means the traffic is lowered, right? So what's the problem? Let us explain. When your light turns green, the drivers on the intersecting carriageway already have a red light. That's right. The problem is that not everyone knows that sometimes you can go on red. No, you can start driving on red, of course, but you can't finish driving through the intersection when you're already at it. Now let's be more specific. If you need to turn left or turn around at an intersection with heavy traffic, where the flow of traffic is practically interrupted, you enter the intersection with the left turn signal on and wait for a gap in the flow to appear in order to complete the maneuver. And this gap will most likely appear when the traffic lights turn red, and only then will you be able to complete the maneuver, and it is on the red signal. In addition, pedestrians who did not have time to cross the road at a traffic light that allows traffic may also finish crossing the carriageway at a red signal. It is not for nothing that according to the traffic code, when the traffic light turns green, vehicles completing the intersection and pedestrians completing the crossing of the roadway must be allowed to pass. In addition, some drivers do not just complete the passage, but generally pass through the red light like a yellow car in this situation, grossly violating traffic rules. And it doesn't matter what the reason is. Perhaps they are in a hurry for an important meeting, to the hospital to see a dying relative, trying to escape from the police and not paying attention to the traffic signal. After all, it could be the police themselves with beacons chasing the same offender. Therefore, if you step on the gas pedal when the traffic light turns green, or if you drive recklessly through an intersection and there is just such a daredevil or operational vehicle nearby, you can get into a serious accident. We did not set out to find out who is blamed in each case. Regardless of who is to blame, the consequences of this incident will not be any less serious. So, the next time the traffic lights turn green before you drive, first look in all directions and make sure the road is clear. Blind, intuitive acceleration can be life-threatening. Mistake number 2. You're driving through an intersection on a yellow traffic light. It seems that drivers have two interpretations of the yellow light. Some think that yellow means get ready to stop, while others think step on the gas pedal, the red light is going to turn on very soon. The fact is that a yellow traffic signal prohibits traffic, but sometimes there are situations when you can complete the intersection on yellow, which is why there are such opinions. If you are near a traffic light and the light changes from green to yellow when you cannot stop before the intersection without emergency braking, then you can continue in the intended direction as the driver of the red car did. But if you are a few tenths of meters away from the intersection, you see that the light is yellow and you step on the gas instead of the brake, like the driver of the yellow car to get through, you're a dangerous driver. After all, when you get to the intersection, you will most likely be driving through a red signal. For a serious accident, all it takes is for another driver on the intersecting carriageway to accelerate prematurely on their green light. Sometimes like that. In addition, in such a situation, you can hit a pedestrian who did not have time to finish crossing the road. Mistake number 3. You don't stop at the no stopping sign. Such a sign is not installed for no reason. It is used in front of closed intersections where the visibility of the main road is limited by buildings, structures, green spaces, the configuration of the intersection itself, and other factors, and the driver cannot assess the traffic situation on the main road in advance, or they are installed in front of a dangerous intersections. In such a case, regardless of the traffic situation on the main road, the driver must stop and give way to vehicles traveling on the main road. Without a mandatory stop, it will be very difficult to assess the traffic situation, which may sooner or later play a cruel joke on such a driver, such as in this footage. Mistake number 4. You drive a car in a half-asleep state. Drowsy driving is no joke. According to the results of sociological surveys, more than 30% of drivers admitted that they have even fallen asleep or driving a car in a state of extreme fatigue. A drowsy driver poses a great danger both to himself and others. Such accidents are much more likely than others to result in a death or particularly serious injuries. If you feel drowsy while driving, you should immediately stop the car in a safe place and rest. You can have a nap for at least 15-30 minutes. Or drink tea, do some exercise or go for a walk. As for coffee, its invigorating effect occurs immediately after drinking it due to the effect of caffeine, but 30 minutes after that, drowsiness occurs due to another substance in coffee, theobromine. If it is difficult to give up coffee, you should drink a glass of water after drinking it to reduce the effect of the same theobromine. You need to be fully concentrated before continuing your journey. Mistake number 5. You are driving too slowly in the left lane. There is an unspoken rule that the left lane the faster. The right lanes are almost always slower than the left lanes. Therefore, if you drive in the left lane slower than the flow as a driver of a white car, even at a speed within the traffic rules, you force other drivers to move to the right. And every time drivers change lanes through your fault, you make the roads less safe, provoke other drivers to drive aggressively and create traffic congestion. Thus, in a stream of cars, you need to drive at the speed of the stream. If you can't maintain this speed, your place is on the far right lane. Mistake number 6. You forget to switch on/off the turn signals. Turn signals are the main means of communication between drivers and are intended to show other drivers what your intentions are. When you use them incorrectly or forgot about them altogether, you are not a good communicator. Such behavior can lead to accidents. We remind you that you need to signal with turn signals or with your hand in advance of the maneuver, considering the speed of movement, but not less than 150-200 outside settlements, and 50-100 meters in settlements, so that other road user can react in time to the change of direction. The signal must be stopped immediately after the maneuver is completed and the vehicle is moving in a straight line. If the signal is given by hand, it should be finished immediately before the start of the maneuver. From a road safety point of view, the turn signal does not need to be given if the driver is driving around a curve in the road and there are no other direction of the movement. In this case, only one direction is possible and the right turn signal is not required. It is forbidden to give a turn signal if it may not be understood by other road user and misleads them. For example, the driver of a red car should not signal a right turn before an intersection if he intends to drive straight through and stop immediately after it. Such a signal will be misinterpreted by the driver of the blue car and will mislead him. Remember that giving a warning signal does not give the driver an advantage and does not exempt him from taking precautions. Mistake number 7. Objects inside your car are not fixed. A car is not a storehouse for books, toys, gadgets and other devices, and yet if you look around the interior of your car, how many items do you find scattered about? Of course, they don't matter much of everyday driving. But if you suddenly get into an accident even at low speed, these things can play the role of projectile that cause various injuries or even death. Make sure that everything unnecessary for the trip is stored in the boot or glove compartment. Large pads should be fastened. There are special devices for this, and small ones should be in cages or pad buckets that are tied to a fastened seat belt. Mobile phones should be securely fixed in a special holder. Mistake number 8. You are talking on the phone while driving, holding it in your hand. This is generally considered a gross violation of traffic rules. You may believe that you are able to do several things at once, like Julius Caesar from the stories, but having your phone in your hand and talking on it while driving is actually distracting you from what's most important. Some people say that driving and talking on the phone is the same as listening to music, but that's not entirely true. Listening to music is a passive action, while talking requires action and concentration, and the person on the other end of the line has no idea what conditions you are in. While typing a message is generally equated to drink driving, the consequences can be sad, so don't even think about doing it while driving. Traffic rules do not prohibit the use of hands-free communication, but in difficult road conditions, we do not recommend using the phone at all. And mistake number 9. You don't wear seat belts or control your passengers. According to surveys, about 10% of drivers consider seat belts to be completely unnecessary and only fasten them in extreme cases, for example when the police are ahead. We don't want to scare anyone, but we'll give you just one example. A car is traveling at 60 km per hour and a collision occurs. The driver, weighing 70-80 kilograms, is subjected to a load of approximately 3 tons. This load can be compared to falling from a height of 5 floors. 9 out of 10 unbelted drivers or passengers in such a car will die. Therefore, we advise you to wear your seatbelt if you want to significantly increase your chances of survival in serious accidents. That's all for now. See you in the following video.